Hello, hockey and basketball and soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this message slightly before 2 on the afternoon of Sunday, 27th of August, North American Eastern Time. So, in this Sunday, I thought I would talk about a little bit about the recent deal inked between the Leafs and Austin Matthews. Ongoing, ongoing news about Canucks forward Elliot Pettersson's future with the team, and maybe a little bit before then, the Raptors lawsuit, or at least being a defendant in a lawsuit filed by the New York Knicks. Just gonna see if I can just get the news about that. Let's figure it out here. What am I out here? Raptors Knicks lawsuit. So alleged shows in a Manhattan federal court a lawsuit filed against the Raptors by the New York Knicks in a Manhattan U.S. federal court, and some scout by the Raptors and the Raptors themselves supposedly conspired to, according to an article in CTV News, quote, conspired to steal thousands of videos and other scouting secrets over the past few weeks. So that was the 22nd of August of this year, Sunday after 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, to say the least, about the how that lawsuit goes and what ramifications there will end up being if the Raptors determine that the lawsuit has some merit and that they've got to pony up some cash. Obviously, the Knicks have the burden to prove in, as it is in any, under any system of common law, other than wrongful dismissal cases, their case. Indeed, the Knicks are the plaintiff, and just to recap, if it's a wrongful dismissal case, at least under English common law, and those legal systems that use English common law, that the burden for proving a wrongful dismissal case, or at least to disproving it, falls on the company that is being sued. Very strange way to do it, but I don't want to get into that. So, at the end of this, I'm also going to talk about where I see the Canadian teams and the pressure on them, and whether they will. Where I see the pressure on them, in terms of seeing playoff action or not. So now I'm gonna go to Austin Matthews. Well, okay. So last week, he and the Leafs agreed to a 4-season, $53 million contract. That was to go into effect in July 2024. After his existing contract has expired. Just gonna see if there's anything we should know about in terms of research on movement. Austin Matthews, cap friendly. Well, there's a big problem. What a stupid win. This is cap friendly here. A full-blown no-move clause in each season. That's right. A full-blown... What a sweetheart deal. When it was time to, trade out a piece of the core. What's happening? I have to ask Leafs GM for a living, what's happening with William Nylander? If Nylander's going to be traded, surely the Leafs could certainly use, a beefier blue line, not just in terms of physicality, but actually an ability to stop plays from, in the postseason, from getting close enough to the net that such plays go in the net, and opposing players can just sneak in behind and score at will. Yes, the Leafs, Leafs didn't, gave up, 14 goals over 5 games, on average of 2.8 goals a game. Not great, but certainly not the highest at all. The Oilers did a lot, quite a bit worse in terms of average goals given up per game. But yeah, the defense cannot be taken for granted. So, but again, depth scoring has been minimal, been too infrequent, and the postseason depth scoring matters, and that's something the Leafs didn't have against the Panthers, or in either of games 3 and 6 of the Oilers Golden Knights series. The Oilers, and that 5-2 in Game 6 was just a disaster. The Oilers were up 2-1 after the first period, and then the rest of the game, the Oilers effectively took off. They let the Golden Knights march-so them. Yeah, 3 goals, I believe it was, and that was it. I believe it was 4-2 after the second period, and, well, the rest is history. So, yeah, it's definitely... I've mixed feelings of the Matthews deal. I like the term of 4 seasons effective July 2024, but I don't like the per season cap hit of more than $8 million above the $5 million maximum the Leafs should have offered him, or the full-blown no-move clause. Okay, to say, full-blown no-move clauses aren't set in stone. Well, if the Leafs are going to trade him, they'll have to ask his permission. And how many teams will want him? Who knows? Depends what how many teams are capped out at that time, and the cap goes, the salary cap is expected to go up by $4 million for the 2024-25 season relative to this one. But again, it's still not set in stone, and that could be a problem. If Matthews may decide that he doesn't want to play with the Leafs when the end of his contract approaches, and it may be the Leafs will have to trade him. But again, it's just insane. The insane term and the insane cap hit on him, and the full blown no move clause. I mean, it's good the term is short because who knows, what he'll be like. And if the Leafs don't win a Stanley Cup during his existing contract or the one to come, it could be a while before the Leafs end up having enough of the right pieces to go for a Stanley Cup. I still don't believe the Leafs have enough of the right pieces to go for a Stanley Cup. Of course, I could be wrong. We'll just have to see how this season goes. And certainly this season, the Leafs and Oilers are under pressure to at least make, conference finals. Will either of those teams do so? I'd say probably the Oilers. At least slightly better odds. But again, that all depends on how many teams from Canada actually qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs. I did early Sunday Eastern time, Twitter. I put on Twitter, the Canadian NHL teams to qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs in each season following the drafting by the Leafs of Austin Matthews, and those teams have it's been kind of mixed. The Habs have gone to a Cup final, the furthest among those teams. But again, it's but during the Dubas era, those Jets ended up winning just one playoff series, a sweep of the Oilers in 2021. So yes, so this season I'd say pressure on Leafs and the Oilers to to get the Leafs to conference finals. On the Canucks and Canucks, Senators, and Jets to at least see playoff action. Last month, during the summer, the Jets have acquired from the Kings in exchange for Pierre Dubois and a few draft picks. in exchange for Pierre-Luc Dubois, with some draft picks being sent the Jets' own way. Rasmus Kupari, Alexei Fallow, and Gabe Velarde. How that acquisition will work for the Jets, who knows? There was a big wild card with Connor Hellebuyck, and as good a goalie as Helly is, claim he made to have not wanted to stay with a rebuilding team is certainly understandable. But it is, but in response, the BC Lower Mainland-based Peg City Hockey YouTube man claimed that Hellebuyck's claim of having wanted to play for a non-Jets NHL team certainly understandable. I mean, the Jets have had very limited playoff success, and during the Matthews era, the Jets have managed to win. How much did they won? They've won this many playoff series, and this many in 2018. Yeah, in 2021. I said a bit earlier, sweep with the Oilers. So yeah, limited playoff success means the Jets may have to say goodbye to Connor Hellebuyck after this season is over. It'll be interesting, to find out how the Jets deal with this issue, because who knows? It may be that that Kevin Shelton realizes that Hellebuyck is not going to be a long-term solution, because Hellebuyck wants to be gone, and it'll be time to, it'll be time to look to the future. So yes, it'll be that. So this was just the 5 teams. Well, okay, and I'm going to go to Elias Pettersson. So, an interview on last week on Friday on the daytime edition via Sportsnet 650, a Vancouver radio station. Halford and Rowe show of Chris Faber, he was of Canucks Army, that this season was going to be an important one for the Canucks, just getting into a postseason spot. I would say, couldn't agree more. Seeing playoff action, I believe, will help the Canucks make the case to Elias Pettersson, who at the end of this season becomes a restricted free agent with arbitration rights, stay for at least a few more seasons. And there's no doubt that I look at what happened, what Petty has done. He had like 102 points last season, excluding preseason play. Yeah, it also had a plus minus of above, well above 0. Another plus. When so many players on that club last season had minuses. Yes, I know the Habs are. How do I see that? Oh, when it comes to Canadian teams, yeah, the Flames. Who knows where they're gonna go? The Habs likely will finish so far out of a playoff spot that they'll probably be in the conversation to snag a top 5 pick at next year's entry draft. Yeah. So I thought to conclude, I go back to another episode of the Halford and Bro Show from last November about Jason Bro, or whatever how his last name is pronounced. Yeah. Who claimed that for the Canucks, that last season was going to be a disaster if that team wasn't going to see playoff action. And it had been, prior evening, the Canucks had lost a road game 5-2 to the rebuilding Habs. The team had been, the Canucks had been capped out, well, barely cap compliant, and the same thing this time. The lead cap friendly shows the Canucks after taking into account the cap hits of Tanner Pearson and Tucker Pullman, respectively a winger and a defenseman, on long-term injury reserve, are subtracted. So basically, the cap hit is, well, at least cap space Canucks have is extremely limited. I don't even know that they could, call up a league minimum player from the AHL, with their current cap situation. They're just. So let's see. It'll be interesting to find out what happens with the Canucks, because, in my view, these Canucks just. Yeah, they're. I do follow the Canadian teams. I've had from not later than May 2021. NHL Center Ice is part of my TV subscription. Basically means watching, almost all games that feature Canadian NHL teams, which is what I want to do. There's so many teams across the NHL, and I know that the Hockey Guy YouTube man based in the Lower Mainland of BC watches a whole bunch of games, even featuring American teams. Thinking, like, what a crazy schedule he has. I don't know how he keeps up with all the developments in the hockey world, or at least during the regular season, and when it's like, multiple games every night. I certainly feel it's more sane to just watch the Canadian clubs. Not all of which are necessarily in action on a given evening, on a given calendar day, Eastern time. There are some that when they are, there are some Saturdays when all 17 teams are in action. And there are others when there are not, when there are, anywhere from 3 to 5 and anywhere from, anywhere from 2 to 4 in action. Anywhere from 3 to 5 in action, whatever. Keep in mind that not all Canadian teams will be playing each other on a given day. There may be days in which one or more Canadian teams will play American ones. But it's going to be interesting to say the least. These Canucks, pressure's on. Every now and again, I watch episodes of Canucks After Dark on YouTube, and also various live streams put in play. Hosted by the Richmond, BC based Canuck Clay, real name Clay Emu, and very interesting insight. You have some comments every now and again, but when it comes to Patterson, is it concern that Patterson has said he's not yet ready to commit to the Canucks? Well, it's Petty's right to say so. These Canucks this many consecutive seasons have not seen playoff action. So, during the Matthews era, the Leafs have Canucks have won this many playoff series, but won both of those series during the 2020 bubble, hosted at Rogers Place, the home arena of the Edmonton Oilers and the WHL's Edmonton Oil Kings. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Canucks do, how the Oilers do, the Flames do. Yeah, Flames are kind of in a mess. They haven't really made a lot of changes. There's big one is the trade with the Devils for Yegor Sharangovich in exchange for winger Tyler Toffoli being sent the other way. So how that will help the Flames, who knows? There's no doubt, however, that the Flames got more changes to do. And I look at some of the teams, there are multiple free agents expected at the end of the season. Okay, so a lot of teams are waiting for the cap to find out by how much the cap will rise for the 2024-25 season. But there's also the future. It'll be interesting to find out where the Canucks go. They still have Quinn Hughes and a defenseman, and Thatcher Demko, goalie, for a few more seasons at least. But again, after that, who knows? The Jets, after all, in June,, put the Jets on notice that they have his services until, for one more season. And that'll be interesting, to say the least. Like, will success in the postseason change Helly's mind? It's hard to know. It's not going to be easy, to say the least. So I'm going to end this off here. If you like the video, make sure to click the like button. Just a few, millimeters or whatever from the bottom of the actual video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. Please note that I post videos. I try to post videos at least every other week, mainly on sports. So I'm going to say good afternoon. Go Leafs go. Go Raptors go. Go Canada go. And go Toronto FC go.